Boys and girls, we've been talking and reading about things that good readers do. We spent all week talking about good readers stop and jot and think about what they're doing. Okay, they talk about what they picture in their minds. We talked about what they're wondering about, what they're thinking about, what they're feeling, and what they find interesting. Today, I want us to talk about another thing good readers do is they make connections. When you're reading, you can have a connection. Oh, yeah, that happened to me once, or that reminds me of something that happened to my sister, or another book I read. So we can make connections. So this is one of my favorite authors, Kevin Hankey. He writes funny books, and this is Lily's Purple Plastic Purse. And I have a lot of connections to this book, so I'm going to read it to you. Lily, let me get the book here. Lily loved school. She loved the pointy pins, she loved the squeaky chalk, and she loved the way her boots went clickety, clickety, click down the long, shiny hallways. Lily loved the privacy of her very own desk. She loved the fish sticks and the chocolate milk every Friday in the lunchroom, and most of all, she loved her teacher, Mr. Slinger. Mr. Slinger was as sharp as a tack. He wore artistic shirts, he wore glasses on a chain around his neck, and he wore a different colored tie for each day of the week. Wow, said Lily. That was just about all she could say. Wow. Instead of greeting students or good morning pupils, Mr. Slinger winked and said, "Howdy." He thought that desks and rows were old-fashioned and boring. Do you think you students can handle a semicircle? And he always provided the most delicious snacks that were crunchy and cheesy. "I want to be a teacher when I grow up," said Lily. "Me too," said her friends Chester and Wilson and Victor. Everybody wants to be a teacher. At home, Lily pretended to be Mr. Slinger. "I am the teacher," she told her baby brother Julius. "Listen up." Lily even wanted her own set of deluxe picture encyclopedias. "What's with Lily?" asked her mother. "I thought she wanted to be a surgeon or an ambulance driver or a diva." "It must be because of her new teacher, Mr. Slinger," said her mother. "Wow," said her father. That was just about all he could say. Wow. Whenever the students had free time, they were permitted to go to the light bulb lab in the back of the classroom. They expressed their ideas creatively through drawing and writing, and Lily went often. She had lots of ideas. She drew pictures of Mr. Slinger, and she wrote stories about him, too. During sharing time, Lily showed her creations to the entire class. "Wow," said Mr. Slinger. That was just about all he could say. Wow. When Mr. Slinger had bus duty, Lily stood in line even though she didn't ride the bus. Lily raised her hand more than anyone else in class, even if she didn't know the answer. And she volunteered to stay after school to clap erasers. "I want to be a teacher when I grow up," said Lily. "Excellent choice," said Mr. Slinger. On Monday morning, Lily came to school especially happy. She had gone shopping with her granny. And over the weekend, Lily had a new pair of movie star sunglasses, complete with glittery diamonds and a chain like Mr. Slinger's. She had 3 shiny quarters, and best of all, she had a brand new purple plastic purse that played a jaunty tune when it was opened. Lily wanted to show everyone. "Not now," said Mr. Slinger. "Listen to our story." Lily had a hard time listening. Lily really wanted to show everyone. "Not now," said Mr. Slinger. "Let's be considerate of our classmates." Lily had a hard time being considerate. Lily really wanted to show everyone. "Not now," said Mr. Slinger. "Wait until recess or sharing time." But Lily couldn't wait. The glasses were so glittery, the quarters were so shiny, and the purse played such nice music, not to mention how excellent it was for storing school supplies. "Look," Lily whispered fiercely. "Look, everyone, look what I've got." Everyone looked, including Mr. Slinger. "I'll just keep those things on my desk until the end of the day," said Mr. Slinger. "They'll be safe there, and then you can take them home." Lily's stomach lurched. She felt like crying. Her glasses were gone. Her quarters were gone. Her purple plastic purse was gone. Lily longed for her purse all morning. She was even too sad to eat the snack Mr. Slinger served before recess. That afternoon, Lily went to the light bulb lab. She was still very sad. And she thought and she thought and she thought, and then she became angry. And she thought and she thought and she thought some more, and then she became furious. She thought and she thought and she thought a bit longer, and then she drew a picture of Mr. Slinger. before the last bell rang, Lily sneaked the drawing into Mr. Slinger's book bag. So take a look at this. It says, "Big fat mean Mr. Stealing Teacher. Thief, claws, bad, wanted by the FBI. P.S. I do not want to be a teacher when I grow up." When all the students were buttoned and zipped and snapped and tied and ready to go home, Mr. Slinger strolled over to Lily and gave her the purple plastic purse. "It's a beautiful purse," said Mr. Slinger. "Your quarters are nice and jingly, and those glasses are absolutely fabulous. You may bring them back to school as long as you don't disturb the rest of the class." "I don't want to be a teacher when I grow up," Lily said, and she marched out of the classroom. On the way home, Lily opened her purse. Her glasses and quarters were inside, and so was a note from Mr. Slinger. It said, "Today was a difficult day. Tomorrow will be better." There was also a small bag of tasty snacks at the bottom of the purse. Lily's stomach lurched. She felt like crying. She felt simply awful. Lily ran all the way home and told her mother and father everything she had done. Instead of watching her favorite cartoons, Lily decided to sit in the uncooperative chair. "I'll stay here a million years for Mr. Slinger. Why does everything always happen to me? 1051, 1052, 1099. She's been sitting in that chair a long time. That night, Lily drew a picture of Mr. Slinger and wrote a story about him, too. Lily was really, really sorry, so everyone forgave her, even her parents, even her stinky baby brother, and especially her incredible teacher. And then the sun shined its smiley face down on everyone and everything, and even the bugs and the worms. The end. And then her picture says, "Listen up, I forgive everyone. Could be the principal. I'm really, 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 really sorry." Lily's mother wrote a note, and Lily's father baked some tasty snacks for Lily to take to school the next day. "I think Mr. Slinger will understand," said Lily's mother. "I know he will," said Lily's father. The next morning, Lily got to school early. "These are for you," Lily said to Mr. Slinger, "because I'm really, 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 really sorry." Mr. Slinger read the story, and he looked at the picture, and he read the note, and he sampled the snacks. "Wow," said Mr. Slinger. "That's just about all he could say." "What do you think we should do with this?" asked Mr. Slinger. "Could we just throw it away?" asked Lily. "Excellent idea." So there's the mean note she sent her teacher. During sharing time, Lily demonstrated the many uses and unique qualities of her purple plastic purse, her shiny quarters, and her glittery sunglasses. It's like saying, it's like having an extra pocket with a radio inside. 3/4 are even better than $1 because they make noise. Glamorous protection for harmful rays. When she did her performance using them she did a little performance using them as props. "It's called interpretive dance," said Lily. Mr. Slinger joined in. "Wow," said the entire class. That's just about all they could say. Wow. Throughout the rest of the day, Lily's purse and quarters and sunglasses were tucked safely inside her desk. She peeked at them often, but didn't disturb a soul. Right before the last bell rang, Mr. Slinger served Lily snacks to everyone's delight. "What do you want to be when you grow up?" asked Mr. Slinger. "A teacher," everyone responded. Lily's response was the loudest. "Excellent choice," said Mr. Slinger. As the pupils filed out of the classroom, Lily held her purple plastic purse close to her heart. Mr. Slinger was right. It had been a better day. Lily ran and skipped and hopped and flew all the way home. She was so happy. And she really did want to be a teacher when she grew up. That is, when she didn't want to be a dancer or a surgeon or an ambulance driver or a diva or a pilot or a hairdresser or a scuba diver. She's not really sure what she wants to be when she grows up. Now, one thing that good writers do, as we talked about, is they make connections. So I'm going to turn this around. So the one thing that good readers do is they make a connection to their reading. So, all right, so our last one would be a connection. I'm going to put a C with a line through it, okay? And good readers can talk about what they connected to. That means something that reminds you of something. Something that happened to you like that, okay? So I want us to talk about our journal. I'm going to take my journal. Today is August 28th, and I'm going to write Lily's purple plastic purse. Lily's purple